Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited about today's video. So today I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill. You can find me in Frederick, Colorado, and always reach out during our live videos. My number is 303-562-8659. If you missed the live video and you've got a question, send me a text or let me know how I can help you buy this vehicle. So first and foremost, we are in a great coach. This is a 38-foot bunk model, and I always like to start my RV videos from the inside out, but I just wanted to show you how much livable space you have up here. We've got a nice 24-inch Insignia flat screen TV, beautiful lighting. If you can see that accent lighting there, I've got the cover on the window up top here just to keep it kind of cool. It's pretty hot out right now. We are running off of our 15,000 BTU air conditioners. And then also I just wanted to point out this little cubby. You could put your glasses in there, you could put your phone in there. It's got a USB Type A and Type C and two 110 outlets. And then also all the controls for your shade and your lights right here at the touch of a button. So very, very cool feature to have this extra bunk. And later on in the video, I'll show you how we can convert this into storage if you don't need the sleeping area, because this coach has got a lot of sleeping areas. Now, normally I start my videos from the inside out so that you can have a chance to take a look at the product and make sure you like it before we go through the outside compartments and all of that. So Judy, if you don't mind, go ahead and take it on back. If you are looking for me, I get a lot of comments where people are like, I haven't seen you forever. We have a lot of RVs here at Transwest, and I always start my RVs from the inside out. So I have hashtag inside out, or RVs inside out on YouTube. Will bring you to my videos. I have over 300 videos. So if there's one you need me to make, feel free to shoot me a text, send me an email, or give me a call and ask me to make a live video for you. I love to help people understand these coaches. So fair warning, my videos are a little on the long side. I tend to cover most of the aspects of the vehicle that might help you to make a buying decision. Because on the internet, there's so much information, but a lot of it is really kind of glossing over things. I want to point out some really key features to this coach that I really like today. So first of all, Jody, if you want to come back from this side, I want to show you something that's kind of fun. So first of all, there's this big swath of cabinets up top. Now these are solid maple cabinets, and this is in the Lakewood finish. This is a really, really nice looking cabinet. It's not gray, it's not brown, it's kind of a taupe color. The other option is called Cape Cod. It's kind of a light, almost like a whitewash, kind of grayish pinky color. Also really beautiful if you're looking for a lighter interior, but both of these are very neutral. And as you can see, some of the things I really like about this coach is not only do we have a window in the back above the headboard, we've got these great high shelves on either side. There are so many plugs back here. As you can see, USB Type A, Type C, and 110 4 times on either side of this nightstand. The other thing I really like about this format is that we have nightstands on both sides, and they both have drawers. So I like having a nightstand drawer. I don't have a drawer in mine. I have a cubby like this, and this is where you could keep your water bottles and the like. You could keep a whole library of sultry novels underneath there. But on the other side, you'll see there's actually 2 drawers. I think this is really, really useful. A lot of times what I'm trying to keep next to my nightstand is things like tissue, you know, cords, things like that. So it's really nice to have the 2 drawers over here as opposed to just having a cabinet. Also, you'll note they're pretty wide. Now I'm going to lift this up and show you where we keep 150 gallons of fresh water. So that is 2 75-gallon tanks for fresh water inside of the coach, which is great because you can keep them nice and unfrozen, if you will, when you're out there boondocking. And then there's a ton of storage underneath here. I mean, you could keep all of your cowboy boots, all of your shoes, you could keep your snowboarding gear, whatever you needed. And there's a nice kickstand right here to be able to prop this up. But when you have so much sleeping area and the potential to have so many people, it's really nice to have so much extra storage. Now for hanging space, we have a few different options for you on this layout. There are 2 wardrobes in the bedroom, and there's so much drawer space here. And I'd like to just show you something where no one can compete with Renegade. This is an S2 RV chassis. This is the S2 RV Plus. And as you can see, we've got dovetailed drawers on all 6 of these full extension doors. They are solid maple, they are beautiful, and then on top of it, take a look at that bad boy. All the sweatshirts, all the bulky items, a nice place here to keep all of your sunglasses, maybe your wallet, your jewelry, and then of course we've got our telematics bay here. Now I want to talk a little bit about telematics. So here we've got a 32-inch flat screen. This you could definitely just play Hulu, you could do Netflix on here. All you really need is Wi-Fi. This coach does have 4G naturally on it. It's a wind guard system. It requires a SIM card. But there's no, it's pre-wired for any kind of satellite system. Do you want to do Starlink? Do you want a Starlink on top? Do you want a Starlink on top and down below? Do you want one just down below? Do you want to do Starlink at all? Do you just want to have a traveler system, an in-motion system? All of these questions are really personal to you. And what I like about the way we're ordering our coaches these days is we're not forcing you into spending that money. It's very inexpensive us to do all these different types of ads. So you can reach out to us and ask us to install whatever it is that you might need on your coach. Today I am actually delivering a coach to a couple that went with Starlink, and they've traditionally had DirecTV. Yesterday I delivered a coach to a couple that had the traveler system for DirecTV installed onto their coach because they're big sports fanatics, and they also added Starlink to do all of their Wi-Fi. So there's a lot of ways that you can come up with solutions that will really keep you happy while you're out on the road. And if you don't need very much, this coach has probably got everything you need. On top of the roof, in addition to the pre-wire for the 2 satellite systems and that wind guard system, we also have 3 solar panels. They're 200 watts each, so you've got 600 watts of solar. This coach also has the extra lithium ion battery, so you've got 300 amp hours of lithium under the coach, 2 chassis batteries, and then not only do you have a 150-gallon freshwater tank, you've got 75 gallons of gray and 75 gallons of black. So this coach is completely loaded with all the capacity you need. And on that note, this S2 RV Plus chassis has the Cummins engine. It's a 1.7 liter ISB. It has a 360 horsepower output with 800 foot-pounds of torque. So for all of you that have been driving around in gassers for all those days, this coach has got a 12,000 pound towing capacity. All the toys, all your cars, if you wanted to do an F-150 with the bikes in it, all those things would work. And we are fully outfitted here to help you get your tow vehicle set up with your airline and your ping tank, so you can use that Air Force One air braking system, which of course is the only way to go if you're flat towing a vehicle. Now on that note, it does come standard with a trailer brake. Now I know I said we were going to talk about extra closet space, and we're going to talk about a lot of neat configurations. So as you can see over here on the side, there's a little latch system. All I have to do is detach this, and this entire panel comes off. When that comes off, it gives you access to the entire, this is a 30 by 76 inch sleeping system as well. And over here on the right hand side, below the hanging bar, you can see where they have this cool little setup where you can actually put an iPad in. It's got a place for the cord to drop down. And of course there's an outlet right next to that setup that has USB Type A, Type C, and 2 110 outlets. Do I sound like a broken record? Well, that's because they're everywhere. Now the other thing that's very cool about this coach is all of the room that you have in here. Now the best part about this is if your wife is being a little wily, she's getting a bit out of control, just put her in here, run a little, you know, stick in between those 2 handles. She won't be able to get out until the morning. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. If you've got kids that are sleeping here, all you have to do is take that little insert out and you'll have a nice built-in curtain system. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. What am I stuck on? There it is. There we go. Nice little built-in curtain system that covers the entire length of the bunk, keeping all of the sound out, all of the light out. So if you do have kiddos that you're putting down early and you want to be able to stay up and play cards, you can close these curtains, let them go to bed. And there's another door on the other side, so I'll show that to you right now. The reason I'm in here is because I have a bunk model Super C, and we have had all sorts of configurations. My daughter comes with her boyfriend, my son comes with my best friend, my friend Jamie and I just had a camping trip up in Fort Collins, and oh no, I'm sorry, not Fort Collins, Estes Park for the 4th of July. and she was in the coach, and then we kept all of our extra stuff because, you know, you want to keep the fireworks and things in containers inside the coach where it's cool inside. So we had those in one of the bunks. So you could take this out and use it as a storage on top, sleeping on the bottom. You could use this for dogs. I mean, it's really quite useful in a number of configurations. The other thing that's super nice is take a look at all of this drawer storage. If you did decide to bring the kiddos with you, very easily roll up their t-shirts, their shorts, and their undies, put in a few pairs of socks, and you're good to go. And all of these drawers are this big, deep pocket. Now, I mentioned earlier that this was a nice configuration because you could close the doors. No kidding, super solid. Once again, no one tops the cabinet quality of Renegade. These are Amish construction. They're built in Elkhart, Indiana, and I'll tell you, they are just very robust. Jody, step on back. And you can come out this way, that's fine, we'll trade. Come on in. We'll go ahead and come in and take a look at this. So now Jody and I are in a very nice little area where if I had the cabinet doors off, or even if I left them on and the kids were in here, they could get up and get dressed. They could access the toilet, they could access the shower, they could go potty at night, and they could do it without disturbing anybody in the front or the rear of the coach. So it's a great configuration for anybody who wants to have a place to get changed. As you can see, there's a ton of storage in here. So you've got all of these adjustable shelves, whatever you need to bring, first aid kits, hairspray, flat irons, and then there's another cabinet here. Now this cabinet goes the whole way across, so if you do have longer items, you don't have to worry about being confined to just this amount of space. It's this long. Now also you'll notice that there is no ridge on the sink, so this is a nice, beautiful, solid surface countertop. The undermount sink does not have a surface to get dirty. It's very easy to clean. It's a single faucet system, hot and cold. And then on top of it, there's a ton of storage underneath here for cleaning supplies, towels, whatever you might need, both here and then also over here you could keep one of those little TP towers, I think. And then of course a nice big deep pocket drawer. Once again, you've got a GFI grounded outlet here for your hair dryer. And then again, you got one of those unwily husbands who's just, you know, maybe had a few too many black and tans. Get them in the shower, close the door, and bam, there's a lock. No, I'm just kidding. Now this is really nice, honestly. You'll notice that when I open it, there's a bit of a delay. That's because it's magnetically shut. And one thing that they've done in Renegade since I owned my 2020 is they changed this shower configuration. So as you can see here on this seat, it's much deeper than it used to be. It's got this really nice waffly pattern to it. It's a very pretty shower. There's a soap dish on the adjustable shower head. And with it sit down here, you have plenty of room to sit on this little seat. It's not so shallow any longer, but most importantly, they moved this faucet head up so it's not pushing into your back. And they've still given you the shelves so you can keep, you know, your toothbrush and toothpaste down here, maybe your shampoo and conditioner up here, and then your soap bar. So really good layout here. Another thing I want to point out to you is when you're boondocking, not only do you get this beautiful solid porcelain, yeah, this is not plastic, there's no pump, this beautiful sand and marin toilet, but you also can see over here on the top left, there's an eco flush and a full flush. So depending on how you need to flush, you can actually conserve your gray water and black water tank space by choosing the appropriate flush. And then once again, these doors are super, super solid. But as you can see, we would actually be able, because of this pivot, to operate and access this door while we're in motion going down the road. Because we all know about, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Okay, Jody, I totally lost my clipboard. Oh, there it is, hey! Okay, into the galley, here we go. One of the nicest aspects of being on the road in a coach like this is, first of all, we talked about sleeping accommodations. You've got plenty of room for two in the back. That RV Mini King is 66 by 72 iRelax mattress. Then you've got 76 by 30 double bunks. And then over here, we've got a 60-inch drop-down sleeping area as well. Now, one of the things that's so nice about this drop-down sleeping area, first and foremost, is if you have a rear-facing car seat, you can put them here on either side. There's two seat belts. So you could actually have a rear facing car seat or even a car seat with a booster seat, and you just put that all the way down to this little shelf down here, and the kiddos would be able to drive safely down the road with the slide closed, of course. And then above this, you'll see that you have, for when you're dining, a ton of room for people. So this is actually a really generous booth. Renegade does a really good job with a few different things. They do a really great generous booth, and then they also do a really good job with the slides closed. So I'll show you that in a minute. But one thing that I loved, when I bought my coach in 2020, only the LE versions had this setup where they had a cup holder that would keep things from skittering off your table while you hit a corner. Now they have the integrated USB Type A, Type C, and 2 110 outlets in the middle, a place to put your AirPods so that they don't fly off and get stuck under the couch. And there's this little shelf space down where you could keep like a notepad, maybe a pen. So very, very nice feature there. And then I wanted to point out something which I think just feels like it would just be so standard to me, but that of course was the day shade. Here's the night shade. I love the way Renegade chooses the oatmeal color with their night shades as opposed to that black. It makes it feel nice and open in here. And all of these windows, this window over here, this other full length window above the couch, the window here above the dinette, and the window behind me, all are opening windows. So you can get nice fresh air coming through the coach, and they're big, tall windows. There's a lot of visibility on the back of the coach, and then we also have a kitchen window on the front of the coach, so you've got that cross ventilation, so when the breeze is coming through, you can naturally cool the coach. Now on that note, right now I am running our air conditioning system. So again, we have two 15,000 BTU air conditioners. We have a 50,000 to 60,000 BTU water tank or water heater, and that's a 10-gallon water heater. It's running on the Truma system, and we also have a 20-gallon propane tank. And I can see all of my levels right here. I can see if my Truma AquaGo is on or off. I can see my fresh water, my gray water, my black water, and my LP all at the same time. I can control my air conditioning right here. I can turn my lights on and off, and I can even do things like operate my leveling jacks. Or I can also, if I wanted to, go ahead and hit confirm. There's my leveling jack, so you can see all four corners there. I can also operate my generator and my slides and awnings. And also even the window shade up top. So if you want to see, I'll do ahead and hit retract. So from right here, sitting at the booth, I can open and close this window. So the kiddos have the little button in their credenza up there, but if you want to wake them up, you know, hey you guys, it's like 9 o'clock, it's time to get out of bed, you can sit there and have a cup of coffee and open that shade on them and get them right out if you feel like it. So really cool feature to have this Firefly system. One of the nicest things I think is, especially when you're traveling potentially with a bunch of kiddos, if your wife or your husband's inside getting teeth brushed, getting the kiddos in their jammies, getting them ready to go to bed after you've arrived at your campsite, and you've got to be the one that's responsible for putting the slides out or setting up the awnings, you can do that from outside of the coach with your app, and you can actually see whether or not a tree is going to be in the way, or if you're going to, you know, hit somebody else's RV. However your setup is, you can actually monitor it from the outside. Now, I know we talked about how much sleeping room we have in this coach, but one of the things I think is really attractive about the 38BB is not just sleeping. You know, first and foremost, we've come up with so many things that have really improved the quality of the coach. Like for instance, the ladder system being so easy to operate, but more importantly, if I just push, you'll see this just naturally pops right up. Slide this out of the way. I could remove this mattress since I have all the sleeping accommodations, and I could put all of my totes up here. So if I wanted to have stuff like tackle, fireworks, s'mores like marshmallows, chocolate bars, any of that stuff that you don't necessarily want to put in your under coach storage where it can get really hot, especially going down, you know, a hot, you know, pavement road, you know, in the middle of the summer. I can store stuff inside. I'm not out of room. And I had a 36 VSB in 2020. I traded it in for a Bunk model so I could use the Bunks for storage. The next year they came up with this Bunk over cab situation. Honestly, I don't know if I would have traded my coach in if I had had this, because this checks off all of my storage, and then also my sleeping accommodations, because honestly, so this has got the ottoman. You couldn't order a second one. We only ordered the one. When you have the coach set up with the ladder, it's easier just to have the single ottoman. Keep your blankets in here. So there's no recliner here, but you have your cup holders on either side. You've got your ottoman, but more importantly, let me just put this up here real quick. Yes, this is where I would store it, by the way, if I was going down the road, right there, if you want to know where I'd put it. I get that question a lot. People are like, where would you put that? I'm like, I put mine upside down on the couch. But that one actually fits better than mine does in my Superstar, so I would just turn it sideways right there. But so queen size bed, king size bed, 2 bunks, another 2 people if you want, and then also the area that you have at the dinette. Oh shoot, where's the release on this? There it is, I see it. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, so I had this bed. I haven't used this in a while, so I did check just to make sure it was a trifold this morning. This one's way nicer than mine was. Mine was actually great. There was no complaints at all. I didn't have the cup holders, but this is way more posh. Renegade has gone up in quality since 2020, not down. They're not getting cheaper, they're getting better. In fact, this is a 2025. The 2026 is not cheaper. If you can catch this coach, I'd encourage you to do so. You'll save some cash. And it already has the updated S2 RV Plus chassis. Okay, so this is comfortable. This is soft. All of the brakes are supporting me. They're not places where I'm gonna feel like I'm dipping into a pocket. And as you can see, this is a big space. So this is a really nice sleeping accommodation. If you wanted to bring your mom and dad and the grandkids and go camping, and heck, Uncle Johnny, however you want to do it. Yes, we have an Uncle Johnny. He actually is known as Hot Johnny, and I've got to tell you, you have to earn that one. But he's got 5 kids. I could actually take them all camping with me in this coach, which is why he should buy it, and then I should just keep my Superstar. I should actually show him this video. He could actually fit all the kids in here. And they are camper kids. They're so much fun. But anyway, this is just a really nice setup, especially if you had 3 kids on the couch, you and the hubby sitting at the dining room table, you got your movie on. This nice Insignia, this is a 39-inch. It's funny, it used to be 40, and I can't really tell the difference. Oh, I'm not doing a good job pulling the latch on the wall. Okay, it comes off the wall and it pivots. I'm not gonna break it for TV because it just doesn't sound like fun. But you could turn that TV out so that everyone would have a able or have an ability to see it. And then honestly, when I built my house, they were like, oh, you need surround sound in the ceiling. And I was like, no, I just need that little Bluetooth bar. I use that in my RV and it's fantastic. That is a really nice surround sound system. And then on top of it, you have all of the storage in the kitchen right here, trash can for your popcorn, all your chips, all your dip. They're on the other side. So everyone's sitting here. You can leave the snacks out for the littles. They have access to their 18 cubic foot refrigerator. This is a nice residential refrigerator. Very simple. Everything fits in here. There's no weird shelves. I have the Whirlpool. I really like it, but I've got to say there's something to simplicity. You can put all your containers in here. You've got huge drawer storage, and I don't have a butter dish. I really like the butter dish, and it does have the ice maker as well. So just a great setup for anybody who wants to have a residential refrigerator. And this coach does have a whole house water filter, so you can drink the water out of the tap and keep a Brita in there. That's what we did with ours. Now here we've got the Splendide stackable washer and dryer. I have the same setup. I had it in my Renegade. I have it in my Superstar. I love it. It works great. If you've got any questions or concerns, reach out to me. I'll tell you how I feel about it, how much laundry I can do. But I'll tell you, I do my laundry on the road. I'm usually got towels washed and like bike kits cleaned, everything done before I get to the next campsite. And in this coach, you can do it while you're on the road. I actually have to stop and open my slide to change my wash from my washing machine to my dryer. This one's right here in the living area. I mean, you could just get up and have a sandwich and then change your laundry and go back and sit down. I mean, it's amazing. But I keep my towels in here too, especially when I've got a bunch of people. It keeps them from getting kind of gross and musty. So love that. And then up here, lots of room if you've got a PlayStation, all of those like serving trays that you might want to have so that you have something to put on your lap when you're eating outside by the fire pit. And then a ton of upper cabinet space here for tall items like toaster ovens and coffee pots, blenders, all of that stuff would fit up here. And then you've got a ton of space here to keep all of your plates, bowls, and dishes. So this is super cool. But then on top of it, you have this area up here where you can keep, so don't forget, in the back above the bed, you might keep more of the supplies you're not using as often, like batteries and cables, things like this. You could actually relegate this to keep all of your board games, all of your cards, outdoor fire pit supplies. I mean, just a ton of storage space in this coach. And like I said, when you have a lot of people, that's really important. The other thing I would consider doing is, because these drawers are so wide, I would use this one for silverware. And then I think I would actually use this one for all of my spatulas, cup measures, things like that. And I might put my coffee cups and drink cups upside down in this bottom drawer. I have them upside down in a drawer at my house. It's very convenient. I don't waste as much cabinet space this way. So just a thought. And then here in the center, if you have any issues or oopsies, you've got a whole bunch of information here about how to get help while you're on the road. So you can see the Renegade customer service number and the parts department number right there. Also though, keep in mind, you have what is just tap the app. So this is a Freightliner app for the 24/7 direct service. You have to understand something about this. That is real. 24/7 is real. Come out here with me. I can't tell you how many times I've called them on a test drive just to make sure they answer and to show how reliable they are. They are just fantastic. And then as you can see, both Newmar and Renegade are so good at labeling everything. Everything is so nice and tidy. Fuses are easily accessible. But this 24/7 app is for anyone who has a Freightliner S2 RV chassis, or Dutch Stars, Ventanas. But I've got to tell you, they are so fantastic to work with because they really do the job. They answer the phone. It doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They've got somebody on call. And if you're having a house issue, we have a person here, so you can call Renegade. But when you buy a coach from Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in Frederick, Colorado, or in Grand Junction, you get to have access to a person by the name of Bill Habercorn. He is like a living and breathing RV encyclopedia. He's the most fantastic resource I have, honestly. He's a lifesaver. He does so much for all of my clients. I don't become obsolete if he's on vacation or he's got the weekend off and someone can't get a hold of them. They can get a hold of me, but there's so many times where I'll talk to somebody. I called a client yesterday who had a question about his generator in his 38-foot Mountain Air, and I said, hey, I'm getting back to you about that generator. He's like, oh, I already talked to Bill. No problem, thanks for calling me back. But yeah, Bill went out there and took a picture of it earlier for me today. So I have to tell you, like, if you're considering places to buy your RV, I would really encourage you to ask what kind of after the sale support they have, because I doubt they have anything as good as ours. Now you'll see this cushion is about the right length of that drawer. So that's a really big drawer. It's a little bit wider, as you can see here. So this is a really great place to keep placemats, to keep all your napkins, all the stuff you need to dress the table before you sit down to eat. That way the kids aren't over, in front of you getting out the placemats and the napkins and all of that stuff. And then also, we're gonna put the slide in for this. But before we do, I gotta show you the sink. This is one of the nicest features of our coach. So as you can see, I mentioned earlier that Vega Touch app that I'm using on my phone. This is what it looks like. It controls everything. I can start my generator, you know, run everything. And they put it here so you'll make sure that you download it. But one of the big changes that they had since I had my coach is they're doing this stainless steel undermount sink, which is so nice. It's such a hugely deep basin. Just to put it in perspective, I mean, there's my clipboard in there. I mean, that's deep, and that's a really wide sink. So if you're a family that lets to bring, you know, chili or does pasta dishes or crab boils, you've got all the room to clean things up there. And then also you've got this really nice Dometic, and the way that it's set up is it's actually set up so that you can use this as a backsplash. But as you can see, it's a 3-burner stove. And one of the things I miss about my Dometic or not my Dometic, but my Renegade that I had and I don't have in my Superstar is this Dometic, in essence, gives you a place to put your towels. I know it sounds silly, but a place to hang dish towels is just priceless in a coach like this. So really nice kitchen setup. This is a spray and pour, by the way, so you aren't relegated to just filling up the pot. You can actually clean things out. And again, we have that kitchen window opposing your dining area, so you've got all of the cross ventilation. So now that we've done some of this house stuff, let's get into the chassis. Let's see, here we go. Window shade, let's go slides. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hit retract. And normally I would just leave the bedroom slide out, but I want to pull it in so you can see the walking space that we have by the bunks. I'm going to cover up that courtesy light. Yeah, the courtesy lights, you know, there's so many cool things that you get in both Renegade and in Newmar. Really like both of the products, and I've had both, so if you've got questions about them, I can answer those questions. And when I say courtesy lights, it's just these little guys right here, but I think that they're really important. Now you'll see here, so again, I could be doing this outside or inside. It's really fantastic. But I wanted to show you how much room you have in the coach, because this is a ton. I mean, Jody's standing in the hallway. You could have like a St. Bernard and still have room in this RV. And then you still have access, so this door opens all the way. So you have like you can be a big dude. You can be a big dude, you can be a big lady, you can have big kids. Oh, you can have a big hat, they'll fit. So today is summer hat day. And Mary said, you should wear cowboy boots. And I was like, dude, it's gonna be like 98 today. I'm not gonna wear cowboy boots. She goes, well, then you're not a cowboy. I said, no, this is a summer hat. It is not a cowboy hat. I am not a cowboy, although I do desperately want a cow. I have 3.5 acres. I could definitely get a cow. I love cows, they're so cute. Does that make me a cowgirl? I would think so. All right, so let's talk about this dash. Same Garmin, right? Take it off, program it, turn it on and off. Kind of nice if you're the navigator, you take it over there, do your thing. But as you can see, we now have steering wheel controls because we're on the S2 RV chassis. We have a little bit better digital display, so it's got color now, it's got lane tracking. So as you can see, a nicer interface. It's still pretty rudimentary. It's not a very complicated dash. We're still gonna do the same thing that we always do, where we turn on the coach and we wait for the check engine light to turn off before we start it. Then we'll go ahead and turn it on. And then as you can see, I've got access to my trip computer here. There's 3 different things I can look at. I can tell I'm on the top part of the screen there. Then I have access to my speedometer and my driving assistance package for my lane tracking. I can take a look at my tire pressure on this coach, which is super nice. Now this does not integrate into a tow vehicle. So if you want to do that, you have to reach out to me and I can actually walk you through and tell you how to get TPMS on your tow vehicle. No active alerts in this system right now. Diagnostic looks good. Engine hours, it's got 54 hours on it. And then oil life is at 100%. So just very easy to use. I don't know what you'd set the alarm clock for, probably for me. You can answer and hang up your phone here, and then your engine brake is now going to be on your stock. It's just a single stage turbo engine brake, but it's definitely nice and accessible here in this M2 106 Plus configuration. I'm sorry, S2 RV 106 Plus configuration, we have stock control. So reverse is here on the stock. And then it pops the camera up. Now these are not predictive, so these are just stagnant guidelines, but as you can see, they show you when you're close to somebody where you want to stop, where you're in kind of that little bit, you know, that gray zone, and then when you're too far away, so that green area is where you're leaving a lot of room behind you. And then also you can see your left and right hand turn signal are going to come on when you turn your signals on. So really nice feature to have this on the stock control. Makes it pretty easy to use, and it frees up all the space on the dash to be able to put in things like your footwell lighting, to turn off that lane tracking package if you wanted to. You can also, your hazard lights are so much easier to find. We used to get people to get them stuck on, they'd actually have to call to find out how to turn them off. And then we have everything ready for your stacker trailer for the camera. But again, this comes with a standard integrated brake controller. You can see it right here under the keys. It also has a telescopic steering column, right? So you can get it nice and comfortable. It has a lot of different settings for your windshield wipers, and again, your turn signals are, you know, where you'd expect them. Just a nice overall kind of cleaned up interface for the dash. Now you'll notice here our equalizer leveling system. So you've got four corner hydraulic leveling on this coach. And then I really like that what they've done with this interior. The previous iterations of Super Cs were a little hokey in the front. So this is a nice wood interior. It doesn't clash with anything. It'll probably just match just about everything. And then you'll notice up here, this is a great place to put in your Cobra. As you can see, well, you can look when we go outside, but we are pre-set up. We've got our big antenna on there for your walkie-talkie system. And then these are nice carpet-lined pockets where you could keep a wallet or your sunglasses, which is really nice. And then of course, we've got our mic up here for your, you know, Bluetooth, so you can talk on the phone. One thing seriously missing in this coach, there's no reason to have pictures of all of these stickers, because you just have to tap the app. The app has all of the different warning lights and what they mean. This is where the lip gloss mirror goes, guys. So, hey, Renegade, Newmar, all you guys out there with the Super C market, us women, we're driving these coaches a lot, and we need a place to put on our lip gloss before we get out and go into the gas station. So if you could please address that in your next, you know, upfit, I would really appreciate it. Power mirrors, heated mirrors, power windows, power locks, you know, really nice automatic headlights now. Just a nice coach overall. These do swivel. They don't have the like recliner set up for them. I honestly think that we leave ours straight, and we put our Mylar window shades in here, and we don't use this space as much for things while we're camping. What we end up using it for is for keeping like our hiking backpacks, my purse, stuff like that, and we keep the doors locked. If there's someone in your way, you have a little horn if you're in the park, but if you're on the road, you've got the great air horn, so we really love that. And then as you can see here in the stepwell, one of the nice aspects of this coach is that your battery disconnect is right there next to your fire extinguisher, your inverter's right there above it. So over the years, Renegade has changed a lot of things in the configuration of their coach. I think they've really got this down to something that is exceedingly usable and very customer friendly. Another thing I think that's worth mentioning is the fact that they've got the integrated cover for the door now, because if you do have everyone sleeping up here and you want to black things out, you've got to make it easy. So having this on your door is important. I did not have that. I could not black out my window, which is kind of weird, but that's what happened. So I traded it in and got a new one. No, I'm just kidding. You know, honestly, I think if they didn't have a Bunk model in the 40 VBH wasn't out yet when I bought my my Newmar. People ask me all the time, would you get another Newmar or another Renegade? They're both really awesome, you guys. There's nothing wrong with either one. Okay, so now we're on the outside. I did unlock this earlier just so I could show you from the outside looking in how easy it is to get up these steps. First of all, they do a great job at Renegade. These are really grippy steps, and they have like a perforation in them so the water will drain out. So if you've got mud or dirt on your shoes and you're getting in, you're not gonna slip. They also give you all of these great handles to be able to get up and into the cab. And then another aspect of this coach is if you look here on this little yellow sticker, you have to find them because Renegade's terrible about publishing carry capacities, but you've got a 3,400 pound carry capacity in addition to your 12,000 pound towing capacity on this coach. So you could really bring all of this stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and close this. Before I do though, please note that it says Daimler. So all of this stuff is by, you know, Mercedes-Benz Daimler. Very well thought out, very organized, very gigantic company. There are so many parts distribution warehouses across the country. If you need to have your Freightliner worked on, one of the advantages beyond the safety, of course, of having the engine out in front of you in your RV, but one of the other advantages that you have is the ability to go into a Freightliner service center and have your oil changed, you know, have them reset your check engine light, whatever that may be. And that's something that is a little different than these Class A's. There's a lot of access across the country for all RVs. It's a big ticket item for service, so of course they're very willing to help and to accommodate you. But there is certainly a larger number of truck places to go to that service Freightliner semi-trucks than there are RV shops. So that's kind of a nice feature. Another feature worth pointing out that I really actually miss on my Superstar is this little deck that you have in between the steps. So this is a really nice wood laminate. If you drop something on there, you wouldn't have to worry about it shattering a tile. But more importantly, you could slide your flip-flops and your house slippers underneath these steps. It's just convenient. Okay, so Truma systems right here. Then we have our first of our storage bays. These, as you can see, are nice, deep carpet-lined storage bays. I have a lot of people who ask me why you wouldn't have them rhino coated, because they rattle. I mean, honestly, I keep everything in tubs anyway, so I like the fact that they're rhino coated. And then as you'll see here, we have this double latch system by Renegade. It is really second to none in the industry. These doors are bulletproof. They shut so solid. And then up here, we'll see that we have an Insignia 32-inch flat screen and another sound bar. Now keep in mind, you can actually wire into these sound bars and play, you know, Jimi Hendrix out here while you're charging your phone. And you can have your, you know, you could have your fire pit going, Led Zeppelin on. If you do have a Type-C, you'll have to get an adapter. They are USB ports out here. But, you know, just a really nice creature comfort for those of us that are on the road. And then I opened this one already. There are slide locks inside of there. That's one of the benefits of looking at, if you want to see a comparable model. I do have a side-by-side comparison that I made of Newmar's new Grand Star. So I'm really not so much into the Tiffin product after Thor bought them out. We've had a lot of trade-ins with cracked front caps and things like that. Not to say that that's going to happen to every single one, but I can tell you that my experience is the S2 RV chassis was really kind of unrivaled in the Super C segment until Newmar came out with the Grand Star. So you should look at both of them. I have a side-by-side comparison video of them online. I get a lot of phone calls off of it, and then I have both in stock. So you can come out and walk both products and see which one's right for you. Anyhow, big storage here in this Renegade. They're just really, really, I don't know how they create the physics of so much space, but they are so good at it. This bay in particular is really amazing. As you can see, your quick connects over there on the right. It's got a nice little port that goes out to it, but you have this long storage. I mean, if you're a fly fisher, dude, this is great space. You can keep all your big stuff here. It's on the party side of the bus. I love this paint job. I think this is just such a beautiful, this is nitrous. This is a really, really beautiful paint job. This is a dark gunmetal, a nice bright silver, and then a really beautiful, not too purple, not too red, blue. It's got a really nice kind of a marine hue to it. I'm kind of really picky about blues. A lot of people are picky about reds and blues, but I like this one a lot. As you can see, beautiful fiberglass end cap here in the back, and you'll notice here that there's a split. So if you have an oopsie, you're not going to have damage up here or down here that you have to repair the whole entire back. If it's up here, you can do the top portion. If it's down below, which is usually where you'll see most of the damage, you can do it right down here. Now, since we're outside and we don't need it anymore, I am going to go into my little app right here. It's attempting connection. It says the signal is unstable. There we go. Now I'm on. So I'm going to go here to power, and I'm going to go ahead and stop my generator. Nice and quiet. The exhaust pipe for the generator is right there, so we could hear that in the video. So the optional mud flap, I think, shouldn't be optional. It just looks really nice. It also keeps you from throwing rocks at other people, which is always a positive. Your 7-pin connectors right here. Again, 12,000 pound towing capacity, 800 foot-pounds of torque. All of your lights are going to be LED, so super quick response time. And they're also up there above the rear view camera as well. So people, if you have something behind you, would still be able to see that you were stopping. Here in this cabinet, we have given you two 50 to 30 converters. I don't know why you get two with this coach, but maybe you can give one to a friend. A surge protector, and then a 36-foot long power cord on a power reel. This optional feature, it is a game changer, you guys. That is so nice when it's muddy or gross or yucky out. And then make sure you lock this down tight. Screw it in real good when you go down the road. I didn't one time, and I dragged my cord pretty much from here to Lyman. And it was still usable afterwards, but not a lot. It was definitely damaged. Here's your 8,000 watt quiet diesel generator. So an 8K generator is going to give you plenty of power to run your air conditioning. This little guy here is for a gravity hose. So this does not have a SantaCon system, or the flow jet is what Renegade uses. But it has a really nice sewer system down here. But I want to point out where your diesel fill is. So this has got a 10-gallon DEF tank and a 100-gallon diesel tank. One of the things that's really important to Freightliner is quality and performance. This coach has a center 100-gallon fuel tank, so it's in the middle of the coach here in the back. So the benefit to you is that that center of gravity, your water, again, is in the back, right? And then your fuel tank is also centered in the back. So you're not gonna get a lot of sway when you go through the mountains. You're gonna have a very solid ride because your drive axle back here is housed on either side of that heavy, water and fuel are both the heaviest elements in your coach. So that's a very nice feature by the S2 RV chassis. And certainly something worth mentioning. On the M2 106 and 112, they're on the front. So I do really like the execution of this. Now the other thing that I want to talk about here is your tank fill. So you've got everything is water etched into your water station, so it's not going to rub off or fade away. The other thing we should mention is that in 2021 we went to the sea level tank monitoring system. It's a much better system than the one we had previously. It's much more accurate, and again, all of this is visible on your app. You also have a power hose for your fresh water on a power reel. And as you can see here, you've got your cable inlet here as well. So really nice water bay, not big, but definitely very efficient. And then here we've got our gray and black water tanks. Again, these do have sensors on them, so they'll let you know if they're cold. They have heat strips on them. And you can see that you have plenty of room here. This is where I would probably keep my black water hose full time. I have one that we carry here at the dealership. You do get 10% off anything you purchase at the time of purchase. So we have most everything you need, water regulators, toilet paper, all that stuff here at the store. We have a Gorilla hose. It's a 20-foot long hose that breaks into two sections. And honestly, we use a Slunky and we use the 10-foot hose most of the time, but I have the second 10 feet, so if I ever get like any kind of puncture wound in my hose, I'll have another one on hand. And most importantly, it has clear elbows, so I can make sure when I think I'm clean and all rinsed out, I'm clean and all rinsed out, if you can catch my drift. So very nice storage area there. And then this is going to be a 20.3 gallon, not 20, I just looked at it up today, 20.3 gallon propane tank. And as I showed you earlier, there's a quick connect on the party side of the bus, so you don't have to worry about reaching it over there. And then again, this does have the extra lithium ion battery. So this has got 3 Dragonfly 100 amp hour lithium batteries, as well as 2 chassis batteries Very easy, very nicely located, accessible. And then here's where your 10-gallon def tank is. And then this is just going to be an opportunity for us to show you where your air ride seats go up and down and how far up they go. They go so far up that I cannot use them. I'm vertically challenged. There's that trailer brake, and then there's a diagnostic port in here. Another great feature. So they really did change when they overhauled this S2 RV chassis. Much more modular construction. It makes it so much easier for truck companies and RV companies to plug and play different computer panels where they need to be, as opposed to wiring them the whole way through the chassis. And for you as a consumer, that just means better reliability and easier repair time, right? Because they can just, they don't have to trace everything all the way back to where it started, you know, 40 feet of wire later. It can be monitored and actually checked just by plugging in, and then that component is usually right, it's plugged into the chassis right where it needs to be located, which is very convenient. So here's one of those side view cameras. Very worthwhile talking about the fact there are some different rim options. If you see a coach like this and you don't like this, you know, high polished aluminum look, we can have an optional caliber 9 grill installed on here. We can get you American X racing wheels. So if these are things that are important to you, honestly, it doesn't cost you any more to have me do it than if you were to actually order it from Renegade. And the nice thing about choosing your American X racing wheels for your rig is there's a ton of different ones you can get. And we can get any of them. And then we can mount them for you. And then you can have your spares on Craigslist. You can sell them to us. But this is a really nice system where you can kind of come in, pick out your coach, get your feeling as to what you like, or you can sell, you know, say, hey, I found this online, let's agree to terms, and can you include these in my purchase price? We can have them financed in your loan. So those types of things are really easy for us at Transwest because we do them all the time. Now, last but not least, let's go ahead and pop this bad boy up. So this is the S2 RV chassis married to the 6.7 liter ISB Cummins. Everything in red is Cummins, everything in black is S2 RV. And I have to tell you, when you go to the factory and you see them assembling these in South Carolina at the Freightliner factory, it's really fun to see the Cummins and what comes in, how they come to the, you know, how they come to the manufacturer, how they're mounted onto the chassis at the Freightliner factory. Really cool to watch the assembly of this product. And of course, it's made in America, so we love that. Now you've got your spring leaf suspension here. Down here on M2 is where you'll find your jump points. Your jump points up here for the S2 RV for your batteries. And then, as I said earlier, one of the nice things about this for serviceability is that it is easy access if you need to do something quickly. I would strongly encourage you to think about having a professional organization show you the menu of what comes in a typical chassis service. I've got a lot of people who are buying Super Cs because they want to do their own oil changes. That does not cover what we do for service at a Super C dealership. And Transwest has a chassis dedicated service department with Cummins Onan certified technicians, Allison certified technicians, Oasis Aquahot, Truma certified technicians, Freightliner certified technicians. So we have a full bore chassis shop. Whenever we have a trade-in, we do a generator service before we, you know, sell that coach back onto the market. We can do your generator service here. And then we have Prevost, Newmar, Renegade, Winnebago, 27 North, all here on premise. So this store is huge. It's outfitted to provide you with a fantastic experience. I have a 2026 Renegade Valencia here. If you want to take a look at it, let me know. I'd be happy to FaceTime you. I'm pretty sure it's already got a deposit on it. My first 26 Superstar came in sold. So if there's stuff you want to see, just because it's sold doesn't mean I can't show it to you. Just let me know what you're looking for. And if this is the right coach for you, you're looking at 5N240172. Again, a 2025 38BB, 5N240172. My name is Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV on Summer Hat Day. Find me at 303-562-8659 and let me know how I can get you out on the road and camping.